Hi everyone, I'm Courtney O'Neill Allen with GovExec TV and your host of today's 5 questions. Join with me here is Todd Gustafson, President of HP Federal. Welcome, Todd.
Good to see you, Courtney.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited to get into this discussion with you. So we're talking about workforce experience, WXP to be very clear on the HP side of things. How does that fit into HP's broader strategy for enabling hybrid work and workforce productivity? And what really differentiates it from other digital employee experiences and platforms in the market?
So WXP is our derivation of a platform that is centered on the digital experience for employees and users and companies or organizations or the government, as an example. And I've had the benefit of working for HP for over 30 years, and I get to see just such great innovation happen on the product space, whether it's our PCs or printers or poly headsets, a lot of great innovation over the years. And I'm just really thrilled because this is one of the coolest things that we brought out in the marketplace in a long time. Because for a lot of folks, products and solutions have been very point-oriented. They focused on the PC, they focused on the printer, they focused on poly. And there's been no real tools that bring all of those together in a cohesive manner in terms of how they present itself to both our user community as well as IT administrators. And so what this tool does is takes all that telemetry data that we've experienced over the number of years and puts it in a dashboard format that you and I might be able to improve our experience, whether it's in a Teams or Zoom environment or whatever it might be, to have a robust experience. So it's something that I've discovered, and we just introduced this product this spring, that I've discovered that is a relative game changer in terms of how people think about their environment.
It sounds like it. I think we all can relate to having to use different platforms from one meeting to client to another. So this is exciting to get into. So let's talk about customer impact. Can you share any specific examples of the early adopters through your extensive experience and tenure at HP, whether it's government, education, or enterprise that are using WXP to improve employee collaboration along with productivity and IT efficiency?
Yeah, we're still in the early days, but we've had a number of customers that were, as you say, early adopters. And let me give you some examples in what the outcome might be. A fairly, what I would say is mid-sized state in the western part of the U.S. Decided to leverage the predictive analytics part of this. And so if you think about it, they're an organization that has about 25,000 employees. They have a standard approach to their platform. However, when they would deploy assets, their thought process was good, better, best.
Okay.
And a lot of organizations do it exactly the same way. And along with it came cost associated. And as you might imagine, most employees said they don't want the good, they want the best.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm one of them. You may be as well, right? And so the approach that this state took was they really want to understand two different things, which was, what was the utilization of those assets? And this tool can tell you if you've got a better asset, as an example, and you're only at 30% utilization, then maybe next time when you do a refresh of that device, you don't need that expensive a device. Or the flip side of that is, you might be a user that got a good device, however, you're at 90 or 95% utilization, and we're not giving you the right tools to go do your job.
Wow.
That's number one. Number two is, you can also look at your software utilization. And when you think about your licensing costs, it can be fairly expensive. You think about the stacks and stacks of software that you might have, Teams and Zoom and you name it, right? All the different applications. And we can quickly determine what the usage is like in those applications. In this case, the state determined that almost 30% of the applications that were deployed and they paid licensing fees for were never used once.
Oh, wow.
So they were able to take out some of that cost as part of doing that. The second example I would give you is actually my old alma mater.
Okay.
And they deployed this because most universities now are moving into a hybrid environment. So they want to be able to replicate the usage and the experience and overall platform capability, not only in the classroom, but for those folks that were doing remote access into that same classroom. And so they're doing that to create this environment that looks the same whether you're in class or you're working or conducting class at home. So it has a wide variety of applicability wherever you are, whether you're in state and local government, the feds, education.
I think we all took lessons from a few years ago when we were forced, to be in those not even hybrid, fully remote environments. So this is exciting to hear about.
Well, and video is becoming more and more relevant, right?
Yes.
I think when I was very early adopter on video because isn't this such a more intimate experience, if you will?
For sure.
Looking at each other or looking at each other remotely. When one camera's turned off, it dissipates that experience, breaks it down. And so now that we're providing the tools to be able to have that robust experience, particularly in a video environment, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, again, you said it, game changer.
Yeah.
So with that, how does WXP integrate into existing solutions? PCs, print, poly, devices, and managed services, as well as any third-party platforms that maybe customers already have. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but how does it really connect to all of those things?
So when you look across every user environment, it's a heterogeneous environment. And they have a wide variety of personal computers. They have a wide variety of collaboration devices, printers. So the first thing is no one wants to do a rip and replace of their existing asset infrastructure, right? They want to be able to get the maximum amount of lifespan and usage out of their environments. So first and foremost, the platform is heterogeneous, works on a number of different platforms and in a number of different operating systems. So that's really key.
Yeah.
Two is we've developed printers and PCs for over 40 years, right?
Yes.
And so we've become really good at developing telemetry and understanding those environments so that we can give the best possible outcomes. So now we're taking that telemetry and putting it into a single pane of glass that you can look at, and then you can start to make decisions in terms of how do you provide the best possible outcome for your users? And as importantly, and I think this is really important, is we'll be able to tell you when things are about to happen before they happen.
That's a big deal.
Let me add on to that. So let's just say you have 100 printers in your environment, and we're a company that would come out and manage all that fleet for you. And let's just say we're doing maintenance on some of those devices. Wouldn't it be powerful if we were to tell you that while you're out there doing work on these devices, that these other 5 devices will likely need the same thing? They're exhibiting behaviors that suggest that you may need maintenance upgrades. So we do it all at once, as opposed to waiting for the printer to break and be down. So it can provide that kind of experience.
That's really impactful, and I'm sure not only impacts cost, but efficiency in terms of streamlining operations for these organizations that you're supporting. So
let me add one more thing that I think is, and this would apply to me, and I think it applies to a lot of users, is whenever you go into a conference room, it almost always turns out that you spend the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes getting the technology.
I was going to say, setting up the printer.
Setting up the, more so the collaboration, is the video working, what tool we use and all that kind of stuff. And so what WXP can do is, we talked a little bit about PCs and printers, but as importantly, it draws in all that heterogeneous collaboration tools in a way that can be remotely monitored, so that when you walk into a conference room, you can get up and going immediately. So you don't have all this stranded time anymore in terms of figuring out how it works, and does it work, and is it ready to engage?
That's really important, and I'm sure all of our friends, both public sector and commercial, really appreciate that. As we wrap up and think about the road ahead in terms of innovation, how do you see AI and analytics shaping the evolution of WXP? And then what capabilities should customers really expect to see maybe in the next 12 to 24 months?
So that's really a question, when you think about the derivation of AI, right? It's how do you continue to drive inferences and get better and better and better as you go along, right? You keep on prompting it and learning along the way. WXP is no different. And what we want to do is become much more predictive and proactive in our approach. And I talked a little bit about the printer side of the business.
Yes.
But let me give you some other examples, right? Is that we'll be able to, as opposed to wait for challenges to happen, proactively develop scripts and algorithms from a security standpoint, as an example, so the user community never has to get engaged in that environment. That's number one. Number two is that feedback that we get when you think about IT tickets, right? IT tickets in a lot of cases is the bane of IT's existence because they keep on piling up and it's very hard to solve them. And a lot of users never even call into IT, they try to solve it themselves. So the more that our tools and our approach in terms of proactive can begin to solve those before that happens. And then lastly, what we don't have today and we're incorporating is natural language model. So you could say to it, I could ask the tool, what are the top 3 barriers to improving system performance for my organization? And it will give you an answer. So how do we incorporate that more of that natural language in the approach?
Right.
So it's going to continue to iterate. It's going to continue to get better. If you're not, for the folks out there that have not heard about this before, I really encourage you to do it. Hopefully you can tell by my passion that this is the one thing that really interests our customers right now. And it's a great tool and solution to be able to test in your environment.
Well, Todd, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to more great work from HP and on the topic of WXP.
Well, Courtney, it's great to be with you. For the users out there, as you can hear from my passion and my approach on WXP, I really encourage you to take advantage of it. We've got a lot of really smart people all across the U.S. ready to engage. Thank you again. This has been a pleasure.
Awesome working with you today, Todd. And for GovExec TV, this is 5 Questions. I'm Courtney O'Neill Allen. Have a great day.